Like all true love, one day it withered on the vine. Yeah, reality sets in. That was today, let me tell you. Remember when I first started this Candito 6-week strength program. It's a condensed 12-week program, and it's designed to just like do a smash and grab. And, you know, I'm going to peak at that 5th week and then go into competition and be, on paper, it looks pretty good. First day I trained, it was brutal. 495 pounds for 4 sets of 6. Yeah, get some. I felt great. And then after that, I had to do 2 sets of deadlifts. I think it was like 60 pounds for 2 sets of whatever, 6, 8. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. And now that was like, that's killer, man. That's a killer workout. And then I felt great, man. I was pumped. Yeah. Then I do my first bench day, and that was tough. But then something happened the second bench day. So there's 2 bench days this week alone. The second one, I got stronger. Like, it was the exact same prescribed sets and reps, and I was stronger. All of them felt light. I could have went heavier. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm having a good day, or like I've gotten actually stronger from doing that workout. That's sweet. Third day, reality sets in. Holy shit. So the weight's not bad, 435 pounds for 4 sets of 8. I'm thinking, well, that's easy, right? I did 495 for 6. Yeah, I'm starting to feel old. Like right now, I legitimately feel my age. Like, it's setting in. Like, this is 2 weeks of this before like it starts turning into a normal powerlifting program. I don't know where this guy came up with this. Johnny Candito. He's one of the pound for pound best powerlifters in the IPF. He's the top of his weight class. He's silver medalist at Worlds in the open division. So that's just, dude, that's legitimate. That's a genetic outlier. This guy's good. So, the thing about short-term programs is they're canned, so they're not really tailored to anybody specifically. And I think I got lucky because I went into this program undertrained, because I don't do a super ton of volume. So I think the stimulus difference is going to really kick my butt, and it's going to be good. But one thing this program doesn't take into account is age. Now you could say, well, 49's not that old. I mean, come on. You gotta, like, recovery's a real thing. It's I still have one more bench day this week. I'm looking at this schedule here. This week has 2 squat days, squat and deadlift same day, and 3 bench days. And the last one is max reps. So I'm gonna put 305 pounds on the bar and rep it out till I can't go anymore, and it's asking for 10 reps. And it's like, okay, the combined volume for 1 week is more than I would do in a month. And then the second week, it gets harder. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, so the name of the second week is muscular conditioning / hypertrophy with higher difficulty. I love it. I'm having so much fun with this. I have this weird thing. And this is why Bobby and I work so well together. People couldn't understand, like, well, why did you guys work? It doesn't make sense. It does, and I'll tell you why. When I'm training by myself, I do my workouts, and and if I miss a rep or I don't go max out, it's like, yeah, whatever. And I always try to push it, but I don't really have that, like, voice in the back of my head driving me. As soon as you put numbers in front of me and you say, you must do this number for that many times, I go into this weird mode where I have to do it. It's just, I got to. I must. And I think that's the reason why we worked, because he always did my numbers. He would just give me my sets. He's like, here's your target weight. This is what you need to do this week. Go. And I would do it. Do or die. Like, it's not doing it is not an option. And that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you got to be able to back off a little bit, be realistic, and reality's starting to set in. I'm not going to change my numbers. I'm going to go into this second week hard, But I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling it, guys. Oof. I got out of bed and my legs were screaming at me. My knees felt like they were going to pop off. Man. So the main focus of this training is squat depth. That's historically been an issue for me. And if you go and watch from the first set of 435 to the last one, I started out with okay depth. Like I was right there, but still like not great. And in my head, I was like, every set that I did, I was like, you got to get deeper, you got to get deeper. And it seemed like no matter how deep I was going, it just wasn't getting there. And so when I'm doing the squat, I go down all the way. I'm thinking in my head, I buried it. Like, that's as deep as I can go. And then in the video, it's parallel. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, what's going on? So I started tinkering with foot placement a little bit, and then like I noticed I'm not opening my knees and sinking in. I'm squatting, zip, but you gotta open your knees up and allow your hips to drop in, and that'll get you another couple inches. And then on top of that, I was having real difficulty getting under the bar. My arms felt really super tight, so I think I didn't have the bar on my back properly. And that's why I was using the barbell tracking software, because you can kind of just see where everything's doing. And as I progressed in the workout, I was able to open up the hips a little bit. I changed my head position to where I'm looking upright to straighten the back out. And I started burying them at the end. And I'm super pumped because I think I got it figured out. Now that I got my foot placement, I'm opening up my hips properly, I got the barbell where I want it, and I have the head positioning. I think from now on, I don't think depth's going to be an issue. And I'm really happy about that, because that's just been one of those things that's, I don't know, man. I trained for 4 or 5 years with the belief that volume and intensity build your strength base, and the rest will take care of itself. You can start working on depth a couple weeks, a month out before competition, and that's historically worked pretty well. But here's one thing I've noticed. As I've gotten older, my flexibility is leaving me. You know, I do all this flexibility training. I can almost do the splits. I'm always constantly doing these body movements. But the bottom line is, it takes me time to get that flexibility. Like, I couldn't just hop out of bed and just like try to do the splits. I would literally wind up in the hospital. I got to like get on the floor, move, get the feet worked out and the knees down, and it hurts. Oh my God, it's so painful at first. And then once you do a few of those, it starts feeling good. Everything loosens up, and 15, 20 minutes later, I'm ready to go. Well, in an emergency situation, like something happens, like, give me a minute. Oh, just hold on. No, stretch. Oh yeah, I'll be right there with you. And just take a second. All right, let's go. Like 20 minutes later, he's like, "Are we doing this? What are we? Why?" He leaves. Hey, it solves the problem, right? Nah, it's an interesting thing what happens when something really goes down and that fight or flight kicks in. You do find that you have the ability to do some pretty amazing things without even thinking about it. But if you have to think about it, it takes a minute. It does. It's like that song. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was, if you know what I mean. I can run with the boys for 5 minutes or so, and I'll give them hell too. Look at them go, man. All right. Well, you guys got the gist of what I'm doing, so I figure I would wrap things up while you're watching the rest of my training with the comment section. Now, I was going through everything, and there's really not a whole lot new. And then we got some comments from the stuff that was going on, and it's like, want to rehash that nonsense. But my buddy Ed Cowbell 7346, he says, "You're enjoying life, brother." And I don't know why it just stuck out to me. I'm like, am I? I really am. I have my share of problems. Don't get me wrong. I do. Like, I'm an emotional man. I take things to heart. I'm sarcastic. I'm funny. I try to be fun. And I have a job I love. I work with guys that I've been friends with like I am blessed. I have a family I adore, and we're a pretty cohesive unit. I have everything a growing boy could possibly want. You know, it's like we're rough around the edges. Does that make sense? We're serviceable, bent, not broken, that kind of thing. It's like, sure, we got our problems. I'm not rich by any means, but you know, we do pretty well. You know, we got everything taken care of. Nobody's ever missed a meal. All the bills are paid, and we went through our trials and tribulations, especially what was it, like 2021. I had some real issues, man. I had some problems, and it took me a while to kind of catch things up. But now we're doing great. You know, we've got a couple vehicles in the shop that are getting fixed, and that's going to cost me $3,000. And it's like, you know, I've had that. My wife's got a Tahoe, and it's a 2004, and we are never getting rid of that bad boy. Definitely worth fixing. It's like the Apocalypse Mobile. Like, think about it. I would pick either a Tahoe or a Jeep Cherokee, like the old sport ones with the 6 cylinders, because those engines are unstoppable and you can find parts anywhere. And it's the same thing with like a Tahoe. Anything with an LS or an LT based engine block, you can go to any pick apart and practically build a new one right there in the parking lot. So it's like, yeah, you need to. I've replaced so many parts on that vehicle that it's practically a different vehicle at this point. You know what I mean? It's just one of those you just don't get rid of. The kids are happy. I got a chicken coop in the backyard. I got fresh eggs every morning. It's like, we have an interesting life. We're not fancy by any means, but life is good. Like, life is great, man. I'm in love with my wife. I've been with her for 12 years. And I'll tell you what, her and I have our issues too. We really do. You know, we don't always see eye to eye. We don't always get along. It's not this like Walton's picture where you go home and everybody just gets along all the time or whatever. Like we sometimes have real disagreements, and you know, there's been times where she can't stand the sight of me, you know, and that's real. But we always find a way to come together, you know. It's like, I really love the direction that everybody's going in. And I would say, like, I'm kind of new to faith, if you will. Like, I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic grade school, and that's the reason why I left. I was like, this is nonsense. Like, I don't believe any of this crap. And I almost just was like, I'm just not going to be involved in that. But I've rediscovered faith, so I'm starting that journey, and that's been interesting because that's slowly changing the dynamics of everything I'm doing. It's like, man, I've been doing a lot of stuff wrong all these years, and it sucks because it's like, what do I have to change? You know, it's definitely a process for sure. And you know, I don't know if I believe everything I read there too. So it's like I'm discovering that for myself, and the family's kind of coming along with me. I see them sort of, you know, it's not like, you know, my wife, I don't think she would call herself a Christian, but I've noticed that she's taken an interest in it. And it's interesting how when you find something to be true and it sticks out to you, you see evidence of it, it sort of becomes infectious, and it hits the people that you're surrounded by. And you know, that's really what we've been doing, is just trying to, you know, influence our small circle and change things for the better. The bottom line is, no matter what, I want to be a positive influence, and I'm not always. I really am not. You know, I'm fallible like any other person. You know, with this online stuff, you know, I get petty sometimes, I get resentful, I get angry, and I get over it pretty quickly. And I do try to approach things from a point of humor and levity, keep it fun. But to say I'm not affected by it would be a lie. But the bottom line is, I'm sharing my journey with you guys, and you guys are along with me for the ride. And I have plans and goals, and I'm going to continue to try to do great things. And I hope you guys stick with me while I try to become the best in the world. And we'll see, you know, one day at a time, right? Hey, you got anything out of this, you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe, hit that like button. I appreciate it. Throw me some comments. I gotta get comments, guys. I can't respond to comments if I don't get any. Hit me up, or whatever you guys got, drop them on me. Alright, love you guys. See you in the battlefield.